Hi everyone, welcome to Raise to Rise podcast, a place where we discuss bite-sized wisdom nuggets with easy-to-follow practices to live a better life. Raise to Rise podcast is supported by Ayurvedic Seva. Ayurvedic Seva is an herbal dietary supplement line set out to change the industry by dedicating the company to quality, safety, and holistic approach on making the wellness journey safe, healthy, and natural. If you want to start adding some natural herbs in your life, then head over to ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code Raise to Rise for 30% discount. Once again, it's ayurvedicseva.com and use our promo code Raise to Rise for 30% discount. I am your host, Mital Patel, a parenting junkie, Ayurveda enthusiast, and an advocate of conscious living. Hi, Dr. Dixa. Welcome to our Raise to Rise podcast. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome. For those of you who knows Dr. Dixa, welcome. And for those of us who don't know her, Dr. Dixa, would you please introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. So I'm Dr. Dixa Bhavsar, and I'm an Ayurvedic consultant. I have been practicing for a couple of years now, and I mainly consult patients suffering from PCOS, hormonal imbalance, thyroid, diabetes, and mental issues.
Oh, wow.
Especially because, 3 years back, I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. And after that, Ayurveda, I really started following Ayurveda in real sense. Before that, it was just, I used to practice Ayurveda for a living. But now I practice Ayurveda for healing everybody,
Oh my gosh,
after healing myself.
That's so beautiful how what you just said. Like you were practicing or, doing your work for living. So it was like a paycheck. And now it became your purpose where you're healing others. I really love your cause and what you're doing. That's amazing. I really admire your work that you're doing and putting out and creating the awareness, because it's so important for us to us healers to create the awareness, because we get so caught up with our day-to-day lifestyle and we don't we're not conscious enough to know what we're doing. So I'm glad that you realize that you realize the difference from living to healing. Love that. While we were talking about consciousness and that you found your purpose and your healing, what does living consciously mean to you?
Conscious living for me is like being mindful about everything you do, right from waking up in the morning till the time you go to your bed. And it's not about just being mindful and conscious about yourself, also being conscious about others' feelings, their problems,
right? So
how they feel for us.
Right. No, I love that. Like being compassionate more than being judging others. And it's so important what we radiate. I really like that. And yeah, like you said, being mindful or conscious is not about just ourselves, but it's also about others. That's
It's
beautiful.
all about being empathetic.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's all about, that's right, it's all about being, and sharing that empathy with others. um so while living consciously, are there any, what does Ayurveda tells us about being conscious? Like, is there anything that Ayurveda talks about?
You know what? Ayurveda in itself means conscious living. See, Ayurveda, there are two words in the name, Ayur and Veda. So Ayu is life, and Veda means knowledge, the
Right.
science. So science of life, the knowledge of living consciously is Ayurveda. It teaches us from everything, right from birth to, from Dincharya, Ritucharya, Ratricharya, how we are supposed to behave with others, how we are supposed to eat, sleep. Each and everything is in Ayurveda. Like Ayurveda, it's conscious living conscious is something that Ayurveda,
It's like a
it's
foundation.
yeah, that's the foundation of Ayurveda.
Yep. That's beautiful. And so when you mentioned about dinacharya, rutucharya, can you, because not all my listeners know what dinacharya is, rutucharya is, or ratricharya. So dinacharya is daily routine. It's right.
Yeah,
And then what is rutucharya?
it's seasonal regime. I mean,
It's a
how are we?
seasonal,
What
right?
foods are we supposed to eat during the different seasons? What kind of exercise we are supposed to do? Everything, do's and
Everything in
don'ts
between,
of
right?
different seasons. That is Rutucharya.
Okay. And what about ratricharya? For those of
Evening and nighttime rituals, which are very important because
very
so
important.
many people are suffering from insomnia, disturbed sleep,
Mm-hmm.
depression. All of these issues are
Mm-hmm.
only because nobody is able to sleep properly.
Yeah, and I agree because I mean my coach always tells us that being a morning early riser or morning person is not about waking up early, but it's about like your evening routine, like when
Yes,
you
very,
sleep,
very
how you sleep, how long, how is your sleep, what's the quality of your sleep. So it
yeah,
also
very
depends on the
important.
quality. So same thing, consciousness is all about quality, right? Like it's
Yeah,
not about how many practices we're doing, but it's about what's the quality of our practice,
yeah.
right?
So
Right.
important, not just out of it's not some ritual we are supposed to follow.
Mm-hmm.
It's being mindful about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We should be conscious. I mean, we should be conscious that we are breathing.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We don't even pay attention on this. That is why meditation, pranayam, this are very important in Ayurveda.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches us conscious breathing. Even
Right.
Ayurveda also mentions about conscious eating, like we are supposed to know the difference between physical hunger and emotional hunger.
Wow. Can you, now that you're talking about physical hunger and emotional hunger, what are some of the practices that you think can benefit in being mindful about conscious hunger or emotional hungers? Are there any practices that you follow?
Yeah, first thing to this is listening to our body. We have to learn to listen to our body when we are physically hungry, or we just want to eat because of emotional hunger. So the
Mm-hmm.
main difference between physical and emotional hunger is this: emotional hunger means we eat when we are not actually hungry, but it's like let me give you an example. We might be watching TV or scrolling through Instagram, and out of nowhere, if we see a picture of somebody eating, or if we watch our actors eating something which we like it could be chocolate, pizzas, or whatever you like, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly you have an urge of eating that. Okay, I
Mm-hmm.
want this. I want to eat this now. That's not physical hunger. That is not an actual
Ah.
hunger. That is emotional one,
Mm-hmm.
and we shouldn't give into that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, physical hunger is something when our brain actually sends signals to our body that we are
Mm-hmm.
hungry and we are supposed to eat. And one very important thing which will help you differentiate in this is whenever you feel hungry, okay,
Mm-hmm.
see, if you would be given an apple or meal, whatever you eat at home, like dal, roti, sabzi, chawal, whatever is
Mm-hmm.
it, and if you still feel like eating, okay, you want to have that. That is actually a physical hunger. But if you feel like, no, I want to have something I like, let's say chocolates or an ice cream or
Mm-hmm.
French fries or whatever it is, and
Mm-hmm.
if you don't feel hungry watching your food, like if it's an apple or if it's a salad or something, then you need to know that it's just emotional hunger and you are craving for
Oh,
something because you might be watching something or you're just getting bored. Out of boredom comes this emotional hunger. I'm getting bored, let me eat something. Let me open the refrigerator and get whatever
and
it is.
see what's, oh my gosh, I really like that point, that if you look at the food or your meal, and if you're not feeling so desired about it, like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
whatever, it's the food, and you don't feel like looking at the food, that means you're not hungry. But if you look at the chocolate or some ice cream or something, and you're like, oh
yeah,
my gosh, and you start drooling, that could be your emotional
emotional
hunger.
hunger.
Oh my gosh.
And giving into, if you give into this now, you are going to regret later.
Yes.
So should never give in to this kind of craving.
And that's why I feel like that's why our dinacharya and like is so important, like how we and going with the circadian rhythm, like how Ayurveda tells us, like is
Yes.
right. It's very important. That's why we need to practice this, because that's like our organs, our body telling us, that's the time that when body's normally like physically hungry, right? So like lunchtime between 10 and 12, that's when you want to eat lunch, because your body is hungry at that time, and that's how our body works, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's why
So
I like following Ayurvedic clock. So like breakfast in the morning, and and then lunch is like between 10 and 12, and then dinner is like before 7, before sunset, so that by the time you go to bed, it's all, your stomach is empty, so you can have a sound sleep.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, I like to practice that as well, and it's very important, just so that we can differentiate between the emotional hunger and physical hunger. I like that. Beside following the dinacharya, or beside following the difference between hungers, what are the other practices that you think can benefit our beginners who are new to Ayurveda,
Okay.
living consciously?
Okay. So to begin with, I would say that we are supposed to have early dinners, because our day doesn't start with waking up first thing in the morning, like we
Right.
talked before. It
Right.
starts with sleeping early. And to sleep early, you really need to be at rest. Your digestion is supposed to be completed by the time you sleep. Your digestive system is supposed to rest. And for that, it's very, very important you sleep at around 10 or 10:30, and you have your dinner by around 7, maybe max by 7:30 before
7:30, right.
sunrise. So having early dinners is the first step.
Okay.
After that, waking up early in the morning, I wouldn't say that you have to wake up in the Brahma Muhurat, but at least an hour before your usual routine.
Let me pause you. What is a Brahma Muhurat? It's
Okay. Yeah. It's the time, it's around 1.5 hour before sunrise.
sunrise. Okay, yeah. Just so
Best
that
time.
those of us who are new to the terms, that understand. I mean, I kind of knew it, but I wasn't sure like that it's an hour and a half. I thought it's a 4 o'clock. Like that's how I had a memory. But it's good that you
Depends
pointed
on
out.
the sunrise time.
So it's hour and a half before sunrise. So you don't have to wake up at that time, but at least try to be up early.
Earlier than your normal routine. Try to begin with at least 30 minutes earlier. Then eventually you can reach to your Brahma Muhurat to wake up every day.
That's
Then it
yeah.
comes to, then you can start with your brushing, tongue, tongue scraping, oil pulling. That is very important. It's not just physical, it's not just physical cleansing. It's about mental and spiritual cleansing as well. That is why waking up in the morning is very important.
Because it's also
That's the
sattva
most,
energy.
yes, sattva energy.
Yeah, we need that.
Absolutely.
We need that sattva energy first thing in the morning, because it's so pure, and
Yeah,
spiritually, we can feel more connected as well, right?
100%. Yes.
Yeah. So brushing, tongue scraping, oil pulling. What else?
Exercising.
Yeah.
Many people uh, nowadays, each and everybody is kind of exercising in some way,
Right.
I would say, but
Uh-huh.
they don't have a proper timing. People
Routine,
exercise
right.
at any time. Yeah. Some might be exercising at 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not the perfect time to.
Mm-mm.
Some might be exercising at 11-12 at night.
No,
So,
right.
best time is in the
In
morning.
the
So
morning.
you
Yep.
can even get your happy hormones.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best time. So at least your physicals, I mean, you'll be active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also, the movement is it's necessary in the morning. Like I used to
Very.
be afraid of exercise. Like I used to say like, oh, I'm skinny. I don't need to exercise. You know what I mean? I was in that
Yeah.
mode that, oh, I don't need to exercise. Like, why do I need to? And recently I started practicing yoga. Like recently in the sense, I'm talking about only like 20 some days ago. Before that, I would say exercise is like, yeah, okay, yeah, walking and stuff like that. Um,
Oh,
but now I started practicing yoga, and I tell you the difference. I feel so much better and more like, I have this more I have this clarity in the morning. So I
yes.
have the set routine, like, of my morning shower, cleansing and stuff like that, then prayers, meditation, pranayam, journaling, and then exercise. So then I do my yoga for like 20 some minutes, and I am actually feeling much better, and I feel more
Yes.
connected to my core.
Yeah.
So I
That's
and
the main thing.
that's the main point of about conscious living, because most of the time we have this like, understanding that, oh, living consciously meaning just, thinking right. But how are you going to think right if you're not, because the external environment also contributes. So we have to do, physically what we need to do in order for us to
Yeah.
think consciously, or, raise our consciousness, because we're living beings. We're conscious. That's why we're alive. If we're not conscious,
Yeah.
then we're not alive. But it's about
Yeah.
raising the bar, right? And yeah,
100%.
I love our Ayurvedic practices, because it makes us more it makes us more conscious, like, it makes us raise our consciousness. that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that being said, what so these are your favorite practices? Do you do anything apart from like, after exercise? Is there something very specific that you do?
Abhyang.
Yeah.
Abhyang that is body massage,
Right.
especially for Vata people. Abhyang is very important. It just gives you so much flexibility, and
Hmm.
it even nourishes your skin. That is very important because so many people complains about dry skin.
Yes, including me.
So Abhyang, yeah, all Vata have this problem:
Yeah.
dry hairs, dry skins. But Abhyang, and Abhyang Snehan is not just internal or
Hmm.
externally. It's
Hmm.
it's anything. All the practices of Ayurveda are not just for a specific thing. Ayurveda considers our body as a whole.
Hmm.
So even while massaging is love, I would say. While
Yeah.
we massage, we love our body.
It's like self-care, self-love.
Yeah,
Like
self
we need
care.
to
Yes,
we need to be aware of ourself, and our body. Like, when I was like new to these practices 2 years ago, I don't think I ever looked at my body in a way until I
yes,
started doing abhyangas.
Priyanka.
So when we, like, for those of, like, our listeners who are new to abhyangas, what time do you suggest to do this? Like, is it in the
See, the best
morning?
time, morning is the best time, especially after exercising. It could be half an hour before you have your shower. So
Okay.
after Abhyang, before showering, if you like, you can go for dry massaging.
Okay. How about
It's
can someone do after the shower?
um, yeah, if they're comfortable. But after the shower, if you apply oil on your body, then it might be a little bit uncomfortable for you.
Hmm. Okay, so that's the only thing, but there are no like side effects, or you're not losing any benefits in doing that, are you? If you do,
No, no.
no. Okay. As long as you're comfortable having oily skin.
Yes.
So the reason I asked, because I personally do after shower, because my thing is I
Oh,
have to do my prayers before doing anything. So I follow certain practices, and I have to do my puja in the morning. And if I like, personally, I don't like to do anything before doing pujas. So yeah, of course, my tongue scraping, my elimination, oil pulling, and shower, and then do my puja, and then I go back to the abhyanga, and then I just put my clothes on. And I don't mind
That's really fun.
being, yeah, I don't mind being oily at all, because like I'm a vata and I dry up very quickly too, so I don't mind.
Then
But
no
I just
worries.
wasn't sure if that, um if I'm missing out any benefits out of it.
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
right? Okay.
This
So
is
I
totally
for
fine.
those of us who like to, love our skin with oils, keep continuing that with after the shower
Yeah.
thing. I love that, Diksha. I really appreciate your. What else? Is there something, anything else that you were missing out about living consciously after Abhyanga? Do you do anything else?
Showering.
Yeah.
Very important. So many of my clients from abroad, they are like, we don't shower every day. Yeah, there are many who told me that, especially who are teenagers. And I'm
Yeah.
like, really? And they are like, yeah, we don't have enough time. So it's like not a daily thing for us.
So
But
let
we
me
need
share
to,
you this. It's so funny
okay.
that you mentioned this, because 2006, when I came to US, as a student, and I used to live in dorms, and many of my friends, they used to, I mean, even my roommate, she would take shower at night, and in the morning she won't take shower. And I said, like, how are you feeling fresh? That's
Yes,
my thing, like, oh my gosh, I have to shower in the morning. But I've heard this, like, from many people that, they don't have time in the morning.
yeah,
And so then I'm like, then how do you feel awake?
yes, I totally get it. I mean,
And so I feel it's necessary, um the first thing to shower. I mean, that's just my
yeah,
personal views too, like, that's my first thing to, like, if once I won't touch anywhere, even in the house, before showering. So my abhyangas and, like, and all that goes after, because I need
after
to have my warm oil, so I need to go in the kitchen, and I don't go in any of the other rooms before showering. That's like my first, and I really love my routine in that sense, that I have to shower. And
that's really good.
my kids are all trained that way too, like, you get up, you go in the bathroom first, you
Very nice.
eliminate, you brush your teeth, you scrape your, tongue, you shower, and then you do your other rituals. So that's
Very
that's
good.
our thing. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that
But
you brought that point up.
yeah, actually, it happens that so many people they think that showering is just external
Yes.
cleansing, but it's
Yeah.
not. While you shower, just imagine you are letting go all the negative vibes of yesterday.
Exactly. That's what
How
I
beautiful
think.
it
Right. That's how I think that, the entire days, the stress and the night times and all the germs and all the bugs and, like, all the air and all the negative energy that we absorb during the daytime, and our body worked at night, like, separating our waste products and stuff. So even our body did, like, does a lot during the nighttime. So it's best to do the shower in the morning, or take that bath, because we're cleansing not just external part, but also the internal, like getting rid of all the negative energy. So it's like washing away the negative energy. So yeah,
yeah, so
I like,
that is why it's very important.
it's very important. So I really love all the practices that you're doing, and you're creating the awareness. Thank you so much, Diksha. Before I let you go, can you tell us a bit about your current projects, if you're working on any, and where can our listeners find you and follow your journey?
Okay, so it's been this quarantine time for a month now, and
Mm.
everybody at home are really stressed and anxious about what's gonna happen. And I see that a lot of us are putting on weight. It's
Yes.
like, yeah, there are people who are texting me like, okay, it's been it's just I have put on few pounds, like 5 pounds in a month, and I'm like, oh my god, this is huge. So I have started this weight loss program wherein
Okay.
I give away diet plans.
Nice.
including exercise, yoga practices, few Ayurvedic remedies. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a routine. And
Okay.
I'm giving 90% off on that to each and
Wow.
everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
So
those of you who are listening and you're suffering, and you're having issues with the weight gains at the moment and you want to lose, make sure you reach out to Dr. Diksha, because I personally know how good she is and what she's creating in the online space right now. And I'm glad that you're utilizing your time and your knowledge and serving others, and because we're home right now and financially could be also a burden. So I'm so
yeah,
grateful for you to be offering the discounts. And I feel like charging minimal is also important, so that we value the
yeah,
the benefit and the
100%.
result in the practices. So I'm glad. So where can we find you? Can you share your handle?
So yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Dr. Diksha dash
Okay,
healing soul.
so we just DM you, and that's how people can reach you out.
Yeah,
Awesome. So I'm
sure.
gonna leave. Her details and show notes. So please check it out and go. DM her for any further clarifications and maybe a great diet chart, and a few remedies to help you with your weight loss. Thank you so much, Diksha. I really appreciate that. Your time and all these really good tips and this conscious chat that we had today. One very last question that I have for you, and it's, if you were to give your younger self an advice, what would that be?
Well, about that, I would just say try to accept yourself. That's very important. People are having trouble accepting their bodies, especially. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm fat, I'm thin, I have
Mhm.
this, I'm brown. Oh God,
Mhm.
this is a main issue with a lot of girls who are
Mhm.
teenagers. So this is all I would like to say. Please, please stop thinking about this.
I really
World
love
is much
that.
more about just how you look.
Yes.
It's all
It,
about how we feel.
it's all about, yeah, because I think because we're conditioned about outer beauties, so we're forgetting our inner beauties. And to be honest, I suffered from this, like like how you said, being dark, like oh, I'm brown.
Yeah.
I had this whole thing, and I, up until probably like the last 3 years, now I feel comfortable in my skin. Now that I have accepted myself, and I have done a lot of self-help work and all this conscious living, and that's why I feel the inner work is so important. I suffered from this, like being skinny, being dark, and I used to feel so awful, and I never liked myself back in the days. And
Oh my God.
I, it's and I feel we all need to understand and accept ourselves. It's it's huge, and
Yes.
it'll do wonders for us too. I really
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing that point up. And yeah, accepting ourselves. I don't know why it's so hard. I think it's because we're looking so much, externally, and we're paying
Externally.
attention to, others and the validations that we're receiving from others.
Yes.
So yeah, no, I really like that advice. And so yeah, that advice goes for everyone, even for me right now too. Like, make sure you
Yeah.
accept yourselves. And so yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
We are
so
we are
much.
our best version.
It-
Uh, I hate it when people come to me just with this that okay, my skin is very bad, very dull, make it glow. I mean, no, you can't use a face pack and make your skin glow.
no,
It
of
has to come
course,
from
from
inside.
within.
It's an
Exactly.
internal thing.
Exactly.
It's very important for especially teenagers to understand this.
Yeah, no, 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 I totally agree.
People are going in depression just by this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just by the looks and how I look and
Yeah,
how I walk, we forget like how I feel is more important.
more important.
And what's yeah, but I mean that's why we're here to do the work what we're doing, right? That's why we're here, to create the awareness, and that's why we're doing what we're doing. So I appreciate your work, I appreciate your journey, and yeah, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your great insights.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm really glad with this. I enjoyed every bit of it, and I have learned a lot from this.
Thank
Trust
you.
me.
Thanks for listening to Raise to Rise podcast. We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts about today's episode. Please let me know you have listened to this episode and fill me with your aha moment. Share it on Instagram, tag me with hashtag Raise to Rise or at Raise to Rise, and I would love to share those to my stories and shout you out there. I would also love if you can subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It's our brand new podcast launch, and we have some bonus giveaways going on for the top raters and reviewers. Also, I would love to send you my 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. All you gotta do is leave me a review in the iTunes store, take a screenshot, and email it over at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com. Again, take a screenshot of the review and email me at raisetorisepodcast@gmail.com, and I will send you the 7-day parenting journal absolutely for free. Thank you so much for being the active listener of this podcast. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you for raising your consciousness and rising as joyful beings.